x plus y minus 1 times x plus y plus 1. So in this case, we would use the product formula. So we would realize that that's really x plus y minus 1 times x plus y plus 1. So now we can use the formula that a minus b times a plus c would be a plus b would be equal to a squared minus b squared. So this, our a here, that's your a, and then that's your b. So this is equal to x plus y squared minus 1 squared. And now we can easily solve this because we know that x plus y squared will be equal to x squared plus 2 times x times y plus y squared minus 1. And that's our final answer. So factoring is really when you go from the form that's x squared minus 4 to the parentheses. So when you factor it out, that means you go to x minus 2 and x plus 2. So that's factoring. Now, expanding is going the opposite way. So it's getting rid of the parentheses, and figuring out what these factors are. Now, whenever you have common factors, you should try to factor them out. So, for example, an example of 8x to the 4th times y squared plus 6x cubed times y squared minus 2xy to the 4th. Now what we can do So let's say we had an example of 8x to the power of 4 times y squared plus 6x to the power of cubed times y to the power of cubed minus 2x times y to the power of 4th. So now we notice that these integers, they can factor out only 2, right? So you can take out 2 out of here. So you'd have 4x to the power of 4th, y squared, plus 3x cubed, y to the power of 3rd, minus xy to the power of 4th. Now, what else can we factor out of this equation? So we can also factor x, right? Because that's the only thing that all of them have. And then we can factor out y squared. So we can factor out x and y squared. So we'll have 2 times x times y squared. So now let's take out the x and y squared out of every term. So we'll be left with 4. And then we're taking out x, so it'll be x to the power of 3rd, because you're taking one of them outside. And then you're not going to have any y's here because you already have them outside. Next term, we're going to leave the 3 because we already took care of that before. Then instead of x to the power of 3rd, since we have 1 outside, we're going to subtract 1. So it'd be 3 minus 1, which is 2. Times y to the power of 3rd minus y squared, since y squared is already outside. That will leave us with just y, and then we'll have minus. We'll not have any x here because the x is already outside, and then y squared is outside, so all we need here is y squared. Great, and so now we factored that out. So that's all we can do here. Great job. Now, in the last example, I wanted to go over something like this. So let's say we have 2x plus 4 times x minus 4 x minus 5, let's say, minus 5 times x minus 5. So in this case, the common factor that both of these terms have is x minus 5. So we'll factor out x minus 5, and we'll have 2x plus 4 minus 5. So that'll end up being x minus 5 times 2x, 4 minus 5, that's minus 1. And that's it. So now let's get into factoring trinomials. So in parabolic equations, we'll need to, the parabola looks like this. So whenever that crosses the x-axis, those are your solutions. And those are also called roots, and you can find them by factoring trinomials. So let's say we have a trinomial that's called x squared plus bx plus c. So what that factor out to would be x plus r times x plus s. We would have x squared plus r plus s in the middle times x plus r times s. So basically, what you need to understand is that whenever you factor something out, the sum of your numbers here, it's going to be your middle number, and then your last integer, that's just the r multiplied by s. And let me show you what I mean by that. So let's say we have x plus 1 times x plus 2. So here we'll have x squared plus 3x plus 3. Now let's try to factor and let's go the other way. So what if we have x squared plus 7x plus 12? So what can we factor it to? And the method I like to use is the trial and error. So we'll start with just x's on both sides. And we know that the sign has to be positive because all the signs are positive. And now let's think about the two numbers that multiply to give us 12. That could be 6 and 2. 6 times 2 is 12. But then we know that 6 plus 2 is not equal to 7. So that can't work. What about 3 and 4? Now 3 times 4 is 12. And 3 plus 4 is 7. So that will work. So that will be x plus 3 times x plus 4. And what's really cool about these is that you can check them. So you can just simply FOIL them out and see if that works. So now let's look at another example. So let's factor some of these equations. So what if we had 4x squared minus 25? So here we would be using the fact that we could have 2x, we could square it, and we could have minus 5 squared. So that way we know that this will be equal to 2x plus 5 and 2x minus 5. And that is because we know that a squared minus b squared is equal to a minus b and b plus a. Now, what if we have a different formula? What if that formula is x plus a squared minus z squared? So in this case, we would approach it similarly. So we would recognize that our a here is just x plus a, and our b here it's z. So it would just be, again, a minus b times b plus a, so be x plus a plus z times x plus a minus z. Isn't it amazing how wonderfully this works? Now, let's think about differences of sums of cubes. So, what if we had 27 x to the power of 3 minus 1? So, in this case, we would use 3x to the power of 3 minus 1 to the power of 3. So that will be equal to 3x minus 1 times 3x, all of that squared, plus 3x times 1 plus 1 squared. So we'll be left with 3x minus 1 times 9x squared plus 3x plus 1. Great! So now that we recognize perfect squares and we know how to factor them, let's factor expressions with rational exponents. So what would happen if, for example, we had 3x to the power of 3 over 2 minus 9x to the power of 1/2 minus 6x to the power of negative 1/2? So in this case, we would factor out whatever we can, and that would be 3. That would be 3 because the lowest integer is here. And that will be x to the power of negative 1/2 because that's the smallest power of x. So we would take out 3x to the power of negative 1/2. And we would multiply that by x squared minus 3x plus 2. Now we know how to factor out x squared minus 3x plus 2 because that will be simply just two polynomials in parentheses. So that will be x minus something and x plus something. And the reason why I know that is because the middle sign is negative and the last sign is positive. So that's how I know one of them, actually they'll both be negative, because negative times negative is positive. Alright, great. So what multiplies to 2 and adds to 3? Let's try 2 and 1. That works because 2 times 1 is 2, and minus 2 minus 1 adds up to negative 3. Great! We've solved that one as well. Now, what about factoring by grouping? So, what if we had an example that said So polynomials with at least 4 terms can sometimes be factored by grouping terms. So let's go through an example in order to illustrate that. So let's say we had x to the power of 3 minus 2x squared minus 3x plus 6. So what we would do here is that we would group the terms. So we would group these two terms together and these two terms together because they are one power off of each other, right? And we can also factor out things. When we group x cubed and negative 2x squared together, you can factor out x squared, right? So you can have x minus 2. And in this case, you can factor out negative 3, and you'll have x minus 2, right? And you can check your work by multiplying it back out. So negative 3 times x is minus 3x. Negative 3 minus 2 is positive 6. Now that you have x minus 2 here, and then x squared and negative 3, you combine the x squared minus 3. So you'll have x squared minus 3 times x minus 2. So that's how grouping works. Whenever you group, you're looking to group it in a way that it can multiply out to be multiplied by the same polynomial. And that way you can then later group it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this lesson.